Thanks for staying with us. The 13th installment of the Faces and Phases exhibition is on at the Stevenson Gallery in Johannesburg. The exhibit has, since 2006, tried to increase black queer visibility. Artist Zanele Mholi has created a living archive of black and white images depicting lesbian, gender non-conforming people and trans men. Mholi is with me this morning here on set to talk more about this latest edition. 13 years on, what can we expect this year, Zanele?
What you can expect is beauty, but most of all, a visual history of our people who are members of the society. And I just want people to have a tangible, a visual document that lives beyond us. Because oftentimes, when we are seen on TV, it's only when there is hate crime or tragedy that happen to our people. I wanted people to make sure that they have their own visuals that speaks to them, that is produced with them or alongside them. So this work features my face as well, but most of all, a lot of members of our society or community who have done so much in their lifetime.
Let me ask you that, the idea that you want to change perceptions of LGBTQI plus people from just when we report on hate crimes and that sort of thing, from when you started in 2006 to where we are now, have you noticed a change in the depiction overall?
2006 was one of the most important years in our history. We were celebrating 10 years of the Civil Union Act of 2006. So when it happened, we were celebrating 10 years of the Constitution from 1996 to 2006. And 2006 is when we had same-sex marriages that were enacted in South Africa. So the change is major. People have grown, people have moved on in their lives, people have, they have developed, on personal level or in various ways. And then I would say that they are positive, reportage of our people than before, when we had less information on our people. People have progressed. We have so much content in mainstream media. We have a lot of books that's been written by members of our society. We have a lot of people like, Castas Menya, who's a member of our own, who made us proud. There are a lot of sport persons, there are a lot of academics, there are a lot of people who are talking openly about who we are without fear, even though we know that the struggle is still on.
And personally, then, knowing just the fact that the struggle is still on, how much does it take from you as an artist as you pour yourself into such an exhibition that you want to have a meaning beyond just images? There's
a lot that is happening during production, and it's draining because it means that going to where people are at. In this current chapter, 13 years on, we have members who are from PE, who are from East London, Cape Town, Durban, and I just want to make sure that I cover 9 provinces without fail, to make sure that we have a language that is attached to photography that has us in the picture. Because I'm speaking as an insider, I'm not speaking from outside. So I'm speaking from insider's perspective. So I just want to make sure that whoever gets to come across these images, they need to have hope, to know that they are not alone wherever they're at, but to say that we are beyond pride. So when people see masses of LGBTI people is when there is pride in South Africa. We are beyond pride. We live in this country 365 days of the year. We breathe here 24/7. So it's very, very important for people to be familiar with our faces and also with the narrative that comes with as well.
Just on pride, I don't know if you remember this, a few years ago there was quite an uproar, especially in Johannesburg, about how some of the pride events were exclusive as far as social class is concerned and not as welcoming of perhaps poorer queer people. And in this exhibition, are you deliberate in including queer people from all walks of life, all classes?
This is a clear picture. It's black and white, as in like black imagery, black and white images of black people who are lesbian, bisexual, trans and gender non-conforming people. I'm very clear with that because I just want to undo the stigma on an African homosexuality. I just want to do away with this exclusivity, when people are sidelined because of their race. So I think that it is our responsibility to change the visual narratives in a way that we know how to. So also to open up spaces, because when you think of how South Africa is structured, most galleries are in suburbs or in white areas. The museums are not like common vocab for our people. So I just want to make sure that we mobilize our people from the townships where we have no galleries. We bring them to the cities where there are galleries with maybe non-converted audience. So I just want to make sure that we are familiar with the art and culture of that kind, but to move away with this thing of like, they are from the township, therefore they should remain there. Same as the Pride. Most of the Pride activities are happening in the city of Johannesburg or in different cities.
Or even in the north, where most people cannot reach.
Exactly. So some few years ago, I co-founded FEW, which is Forum for Empowerment of Women, which caters for the lives of Black lesbians and trans people as well, and trans women specifically. We wanted to make sure that we had an organization that spoke to the needs of Black people, especially members of our community. So now we're bringing people, mobilize people from the townships, bring them to the spaces, let people see themselves and see possibilities, and also to know that galleries, exhibitions are them.
We're pressed for time, but I want to squeeze in one last question, because you are, again, on the issue of being deliberate about highlighting specific issues. You speak to the issue of gender non-conforming individuals and transgender individuals. In the queer community itself, are you finding that the community is becoming more accepting of those people, including bisexuals, where in the early years you'd hear people say, well, there's no such thing as a bisexual person, you're just confused or you don't want to come out?
I think that what is most important is for us to accept ourselves than to expect others to accept us. First, self-love is very major, and then it will be at least much easier for the outsiders to accept and understand who we are. But most of all, to urge our members of LGBTI community to go to school. Let us be educated, guys. Let us make sure that we are together. Let us make sure that we push this peacefully so that nobody comes between us, because we know how much we're worth as a people.
All right, Sanile Mholi, thank you so much for your time this morning.